Welcome to Cemetery Road, everybody. In this episode, I find myself in California, specifically Coloma, California, where we are in the heart of gold country, everybody. Coloma is where the gold rush started here in California, and so it only makes sense that I am in one of their oldest cemeteries to pay my respects to those who came before, who came out here searching for riches. Maybe they found them, maybe they didn't, but what they did meet is their end here. This is where they are interred, and that is what we are here to see. So we're going to take a look around and see what kind of catches my eye. things this cemetery is known for is that it was the site of a double hanging back in, I believe, 1855, of two people who were murderers. One was someone who murdered a young woman who rejected his advances, and the other one was part of a gang who roamed the countryside here, killing miners that found themselves out by themselves, and they were captured and hung together pretty much at the same time. And they were buried here in the cemetery, but not inside the cemetery grounds. They are somewhere on the fringes. Their graves are unmarked, so their remains location are a mystery. But that is how it was back in those times. Much like the madam who suffered her fate, but allowed to be buried inside the cemetery, these ones were not. Generally, she wouldn't have been either, but they were not so lucky. One of the graves here in the Pioneer Cemetery here in Coloma, California, is one of Ellen Wilson. Ellen Wilson, her marker says, shot and died on March 14th, 1855 in Coloma, proprietor of the Lone Star of Texas, a house of ill fame. She was known as Texas Ellen. Unfortunately, she died tragically. She was a madam, and someone who had taken an extreme liking to her saw her dancing with another man through her window, and he became so enraged that he shot at the man through the window, but hit her instead, where she died. What makes this interesting is that she was a madam. She was in charge of the prostitutes here in Coloma, and generally when people of that business died, they were not allowed to be buried within the cemetery grounds with everybody else. She was allowed. She was well liked here in Coloma. She helped many during a smallpox and cholera outbreak, and that earned her favor amongst the people, so that when she died, she ended up in the cemetery with everybody else. So as you've seen in this cemetery, most of the markers are stone. They are doing pretty well for the conditions that this location gets. It gets heavy winters, snow, rain, winds, everything. These graves are very old, but they have stood the test of time. Now, that means the stone markers stood the test of time. There are a couple markers here that are made of wood that still survive, but they are in terrible condition. And that would lead us to believe that many graves here at the Pioneer Cemetery are lost to time, because the other wooden markers succumb to the elements. They have since worn down, fallen apart, become scattered wood along this area. Some may be stolen. That's just the way it is with these old West towns. The cemetery is very well kept, thankfully, and it is one of my favorites to come visit whenever I'm in this area. Well, it is time for me to take my leave. I need to get back on the road as I do. But if you're ever in this area, this is definitely worth a stop. And remember, when you're out on the road walking amongst the stones, always be safe, always be respectful. And until next time, I'll see you then.